Why do I have 3 unfinished projects in here? Because it keeps me busy, keeps me creative, keeps me making these videos a couple of you guys like to watch. We're working on the 78 Chevy Love today because, well, we've been working on it for a while and it's time to get some things done on it. But also, I need to get the bed back on that so I could take the bed off the 1990 S-10. That guy I built in the very early 2000s. I ended up selling it, and then it was sold again, and then I recently just got it back after 20 years. So yeah, when I had the opportunity to get that back, dang right I jumped on it. And that has been another project. We just been working on the interior so far. But the plan is complete suspension redo. I'm just waiting on parts. I've been waiting on parts for a long time. So there it sits. Garage is a bit of a mess, but that's okay. It's still my happy place, and it's garage time. And just because one of these projects is scattered all over the place, like on the wall, over here, even outside, that doesn't mean it's still not up here. Oh no, 28 Model A has not been forgotten about. This right here is a super solid Model A frame. I was just going to build one from scratch, but this popped up a good deal, so I jumped on it. That looks like something, I guess. Something's more than it was. Nope, that wasn't right. There we go. Those are going to sit like that. It's going to loop around into the tank there. On both sides, like thus. I know I have some stainless hardware somewhere. Could have swore it was still in an Ace Hardware bag, but obviously not. That's okay, it just took me forever to find it. These compressors have rubber bushings in there that kind of keep the vibration down, keep them quieter. I always use stainless hardware so they don't rust. Nylock nuts so they don't come loose. A word of advice when using stainless nylock nuts: don't use an impact or a drill. Tighten them by hand, because that nylon in there will heat up and it'll seize on there, and the only way to get it off is to cut it. So tighten these guys by hand. You know what? I think I'm going to use a bigger washer. Yes, maybe something like that would be better. That's better. I like that. That'll do. All right, 7 more. All right, I need to run to the store and get some fittings because, well, I want to. Can I move on to something else? Yeah, of course I can, but I'm working on that, so I want to finish that. Now, I can tell you what size fittings I need, but every time you go to the store, you end up standing there like, what was it? And then it takes me forever to get what I need, and then I usually miss one. But using a piece of paper and a dirty finger, I need a reducer that size to this size. I also need an intake fitting, 2 of them for these compressors. And I'm going to make my list on this piece of paper so that way when I get there, there is no question that I need that 1/4 inch NPT to barbed fitting for our intake. And I need the 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch bushing, a reducer. There is no doubt about it that I'm going to get the right ones. That's the next best thing to just taking an example with you. Now, if you didn't know, these NPT fittings, we measure the hole on the inside diameter of that hole. That's a 1/2 inch, not the outside, which is more like 3/4. So if you were to get online and order a 3/4 inch fitting because you think it's right, you're going to get an awfully big fitting that you weren't expecting. Ask me how I know. That was 20 years ago. I learned my lesson. I also learned from that project, try not to buy fittings online. Go somewhere local. And don't use plastic. Plastic fittings are bad for you. This is what gets you when you're doing this kind of stuff. This is like $50 just for that. 2 1/2 inch plugs, 2 1/2 inch to 1/4 bushings, 2 1/4 to 1/4 barbed fittings, and 12 feet of this nylon line. Now this isn't to hold our truck up. This is just for the air intake to the compressors, so this is fine. We'll be using DOT, like air brake kind of line for the suspension. I'm just kind of sticking these in. We're just double checking we got the right sizes is all. We've got to take these out and get some thread sealant on them. Why don't you go in there? I know you're the right size. Go in there. I don't know how you left-handers do this. Oh, there we go. Got it. Plug. Plug. This is a check valve that's on the end of this compressor. Prevents the air from leaking back into the compressor head. Intake fitting. Intake fitting. Quarter inch plug here. This is a 1/2 inch airline fitting there. That's going to be running inside to our manual valves. I like manual valves. I have spent my entire life working with automotive electronics and I trust my manual valves. Anyway, pressure switch will probably go there. Sometimes I actually like to run it inside the cab because I'm going to have air pressure from the tank into manual valves anyway, and that keeps that pressure switch out of the elements. But I don't know, or I don't recall anyway, ever having an issue with the pressure switch. So I think it'll probably just live there. I like to use Loctite 545 for this. But you know what? I don't have any right now. But I've got this pipe thread sealant. Got some Teflon tape. I'm going to use both. And I've done that 1.5 million times and never had an issue or a leak. I take that back. Who's never had a leak? We don't need to seal these guys. It's just the intake. These Nip-X pliers are great. These ones are from Matco, but they're smooth jaw, totally parallel, adjustable, and they come in different sizes too. But I like using these versus like an adjustable wrench like this, because you're always messing around with that. It always loosens up, tightens up, or whatever. But these, you set it, when you open them up, it opens and closes just a little bit. Link in description. Might as well start with these plugs. I'm going to take my Teflon tape. I'm actually going to use the yellow stuff. It's just a little bit thicker, that's all. So I am putting this on in a certain direction. You can see I started it where the end is, I'm going to call it clockwise. So that way when you tear that off, that end, as you tighten this, it's kind of pulling it away. So that way it doesn't unravel this Teflon tape. That makes sense? I hope so. I'm put a little goop on there too. Just for good measure. Just a little reassurance. I also noticed that I didn't do the plug first. I did one of these bushings. Might as well just keep going with it. So this yellow Teflon tape, you know, they say it's for gases and things, but really, I think the only difference is that it's thicker. That was not where the bushing went, that's where the plug went. I mean, it's supposed to go. So I guess, do I really know what I'm doing? Sometimes I wonder. Let's try this again, shall we? That's how we get better though, right? Repetition, practice, screwing up and having to redo it. Whatever you want to call it. It's honestly how I will learn the best. So if I ever tell you exactly how to do something, it's because I already screwed it up once before. These check valves on the Viair compressors, they're kind of notoriously not awesome. A lot of guys will just take this off and run a better one right off the bat. I personally haven't had any issues with them, so I don't do that yet. I do know that one thing that people do with these is they over torque them. And it says right here, 22 to 25 Newton meters, or 16 to 18 foot-pounds, if you rather. I'm sure nobody puts any sort of torque wrench on these things. So, I don't know, maybe I've just been lucky. Lucky getting them torqued right, or lucky that they haven't gone bad. Either way. Feels about 17. 18 foot-pounds, give or take. Now what? Should we mount the gas tank? I think we shall. Get out of the way. So I built this frame. This gas tank sits very nicely on top of it. Should I have made it mount from underneath? Probably. That way, if I ever had an issue with the sending unit or something, I wouldn't have to take the bed off. I mean, I still can. But that's not the way I designed it, so that's not the way we're going to do it. There's 3 holes on either side of that gas tank. And those flanges on that, they're reinforced from Chevy. Well, technically Isuzu. Yeah, the Chevy Love was an Isuzu. I have 1/4 nut certs, thread certs, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like a rivet, but it's got threads in it. So we're going to be able to drill those holes and put those thread certs in it, and then we'll be able to just use stainless machine screws to hold that gas tank down. I would prefer to use stainless, but these are zinc, and I think that'll be just fine. I just need to find my tool, my thread setter. Nope. 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 Ah, there it is. Pretty sure it's got a 1/4 end on it too. And if I'm not mistaken, we need to drill a 3/8 hole for these. Maybe a little smaller. We're going to try a 23/64. We're going to mark these holes with a chipinger. If you don't have a chipinger, get yourself one. What's it do? It chipings. Chipinger. Link in description. Automatic center punch. Chipinger and hyperstep bits, that's where it's at. I sprayed some paint in those holes because, you know, nobody likes rust. Well, actually, I like old rusty things, just not on this truck. All right, so I take my tool, open it up, thread one of these guys on there, stick it in the hole, squeeze it, tighten it, squeeze it again, unthread it, and we have ourselves a threaded hole. It works swell. They do make pneumatic ones and like attachments for your drill. I just haven't had any luck with them. I haven't found any that are really quality. We give them a little squirt of paint just because. We got some 1/4 stainless machine screws and washers and black washers. Hopefully they're long enough. Yeah, let's find some longer ones. These are a bit short. I got a few anyway. If I can't find the rest of them, I'll just have to go back to the store. I'd honestly like them a little bit longer than that even. All right, I found some. These are actually hex heads instead of Phillips. So I actually like that better. There we go. I'm just going to get all 6 of these just finger tight for now, and then we'll tighten them all up after we get them all threaded in. Well, they're all threaded in there, so that's good. I think we can go ahead and tighten it up. Compressors mounted, air tank mounted, fittings are in, gas tank mounted, shocks hanging ready for the rear end, upper link bars also ready for the rear end. This is our waterproof box that we're going to be putting some electronics in for our air compressors and whatnot. This is a piece of plastic that I forget what it is. It's not ABS, but it's you can screw into it and cut it like wood. I'm going to put this inside of there. And this has different screw holes, different areas we can screw this to the box. So there's a little bit of grease on my bench here. When I put those upper link bars on, I'm just going to take that, put a dab on one of them spots, drop this in there, pull it out, got our dab of grease. That grease is marking my hole. Bam. Wipe that crap off. All right, but we're going to put that in later. We got to drill some holes back here. I have these grommets. Now, you don't have to use these. These come with a Ford Police Interceptor, so not everybody has access to these. But I'm going to put a couple of them on the back side of this box. So I think I'm going to drill the same size holes through that plastic. Yeah. Originally, I didn't want to do that, but I think in the long run, it'll be a whole lot better. Because you know what's going to happen is I'd get it all in there, and then the holes wouldn't be big enough for what I wanted to run in this box, and then it'd be a whole thing. A whole thing that would irritate me. The whole having to do it over kind of thing. Again, using stainless hardware and nylon nuts. I'm going to get this box attached to this cross member here. So the idea here is that this box is accessible from behind the license plate. There. All right, we're gonna screw our plastic piece in there. Good morning. Again, it is Sunday, and we have a little bit of time to have some fun out here in the garage. So why not get started? With what? I don't know. Maybe this. Should clean this mess. That is not what we're doing. We're going to continue getting done. We welded this tab on last time, and that's going to hold our rubber brake line that goes to the rear end. And this is a retainer clip that retains it. It holds it into place. There's this groove on this brake line. It goes in there like that. That's going to need a little convincing, maybe from a hammer. Size of the hammer does not matter. Oh. What the hell was that? So now we have this flexible brake line that'll move up and down with the rear end. We'll hardline it from there, up there. Maybe that's what we'll do now. So what I have here, brake line. Duh. It is 3/16, super flexible, easy to bend by hand. That's why I like this. So I can just kind of unroll some of it, start running it the way that I'm going to want it to end up. I bend super easy, but I still want to be careful. I don't want it to kink at all. You just want nice, easy flowing curves here. Leaving that end a little bit long. All right, that is half-ass. No, it's not half-ass. It's going to be whole-ass. It's just we're not ready to put the rest of it in. We're going to flare the end of this one and get this hooked up to that hose we just put on, and then we'll work our way forward. One thing that I have discovered, when it comes to a flaring tool, you get what you pay for. They might all look very similar, but believe me, they're not. If this part isn't holding your brake line perfectly, and this part isn't perfectly square in here, you are not going to get a good flare. We have 3/16 line, so you get this adapter. Now, one thing that I screw up on these all the time is not putting the nut on before I flare it. Does that nut need Teflon tape? No, it doesn't. The flare takes care of the sealing. Do I do it anyway? Yeah, I normally do. This adapter that we grabbed, it's kind of multi-use. First, put it on here, and we want our brake line sticking out that distance. All right, clamp it. All right, now our adapter, it goes inside that brake tube. And then this guy, it goes around the flaring bar, I think is what they call this. It's going to go around that. If we get this loosened up enough. And that pointy plunger there goes into the adapter. And we give that a good tightening. You can kind of watch the brake line flare out. Now this part takes some practice to not overdo it. All right, then you take that off, take the adapter out. You can see that it's got a flare on it, kind of a bubble. Now we're going to put this directly into the line. And same thing. Now this is what I'm saying. If this does not sit on here square and perfect, this flare is going to be all sorts of crooked. Be flared more on one side. Not good. Pull that off. All right, now we have a good flare. Did I put the nut on? Yes, I did. Slide that up in there. Thread that into our hose. Give her a few good turns. Cool thing about this easy bend stuff is that you can really kind of dial it in. This is an 8/32 tap. Just gonna go ahead, tap a couple holes along this frame rail. I'm gonna break my tap. Crap. Gotta break out the big guns, I guess. $8/32. A little bit warm in here. Well, I broke that one too. I am notoriously bad with taps. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to do is attach these to the frame. I got these on Amazon. It's a little zip tie holder thing. What I like about these is that you can put the zip tie in this way, or you can put it in this way. We got options. I'll throw that link below too. We're going to use this self-tapping screw here. I don't like it, but it'll be fine. We'll put paint over it so it doesn't get all rusty and crappy. I'd rather have nice tapped holes where I could use stainless machine screws, but here we are. That's all right. We'll pivot and we'll be happy with it. I ran these into the frame, sprayed a little paint in the holes. Now we'll just run these in. This is Tessa tape. They have a couple different versions of this. One is like a cloth that's good for inside of the vehicle. This is more like a nylon. This is great for engine bays. It's heat resistant. It's great for kind of outside. One reason I didn't want to use those screws like we had to use is because I didn't want the brake line to be rubbing on the head of it right there. So I'm taking a little piece of this and wrapping it around the brake line where it's over those screws, just so we don't end up vibrating and wearing a hole in the brake line, because holes in brake lines, yeah, well, you know, that doesn't end very well. Now we can take a zip tie, go through a holder here. Flush cutters. It's truly flush. Cuts that zip tie nice and flush so it doesn't turn into a razor blade. So normally this brake line would run up front to the proportioning valve here on the firewall. As you can see, there is no brake master cylinder, no booster, no proportioning valve under here. Just a lot of dust. Yeah. So I just ran this brake line up to here, and it's just zip tied here for now because there's some finishing work to do back here, obviously. But that's for another day. And when that's done, there will be an elbow, like a brake line elbow, that goes from here into the cab above that transmission hump, and it's just going to run through the center console to a proportioning valve on the master cylinder and brake booster that is hidden under the dash. Yeah, under the dash. Look, it's right there. This brake pedal is modified around our big wheel tub to a 90-degree crazy cantilever thing that mounts that brake booster sideways under the dash. Neat stuff. It might make things a little more complicated in there, but man, it looks good under here. I got a ton of stuff to do around the house before it starts raining, so I'm gonna have to call it a day. As always, thanks for hanging out. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so and sticking around for more. Watch that 78 Chevy Love finally get finished. The 1990 S-10 get a new life after 20 years, and who knows how long it's been since that Model A has been doing anything but sitting in my garden. It's all happening here, folks. See you out there.